Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thanks, Senator Reed. Senator Van Hollen of Maryland is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank all of you for your testimony here today. Secretary Coase, I want to start with some thank yous to President Biden, Secretary Buttigieg, and to yourself on the really great, fast federal response to the collapse of the Key Bridge, a huge tragedy, of course, for Baltimore City, our state, and had national implications. We're grateful for the fact that we were quickly enrolled in the emergency relief program, the $60 million for traffic mitigation, and of course, other federal agencies that helped clear the channel and open the port. But obviously now we want to move forward with the reconstruction and are really pleased to see the President's disaster supplemental that includes $3.2 billion for the emergency relief program. And we look forward to working with you on that to try to make sure we get it through the Congress just as quickly as possible. I will say that if that had also been a transit route over the bridge, it obviously would have been even a bigger catastrophe in terms of transportation. So I do think we need to be looking in Congress at an emergency relief program that applies not just to bridges and other transportation sort of roads, but also to transit. And another thing I just wanted to flag is I've been working on the Moving Transit Forward Act with Senator Fetterman, which would address some of the operational sides of the expenses and costs for states. I know your budget, as you proposed, it allows metro systems around the country to use their funds for either operations or capital, and I think that's a good direction to go, and we want to build on that. Thank you also for attending a gathering earlier this or last year, I think, but with Governor Moore, Senator Cardin, and myself, Congressman Afume on the Red Line. And obviously the bipartisan infrastructure bill has been mentioned a couple times this morning, but just want to remind you, and I know you're aware of it, that bill has a provision in it, and I'm quoting from that bill: the Secretary shall provide full and fair consideration to projects that seek an updated rating after a period of inactivity following an earlier rating and evaluation, end quote from the statute. So would you agree that the previous work done by MDOT and FTA in support of the Baltimore Red Line project should not be wasted, and that once submitted to FTA, the Red Line project should be able to receive a rating more quickly given all the previous work that had been done?
Senator, I will just say, as I said previously when we were together in Baltimore, you have my commitment to working with the state and Baltimore to get this project across the finish line. And yes, we do agree that the information and effort that had been previously done should be part of the process. And that's why I'm pleased to say that even as of today, FTA is working closely with the state and the transit agency to do that, just that. So we hope that in near term, we'll have something more positive to say.
No, I appreciate that. Just for my colleagues' benefit, our previous governor pulled the plug on the Baltimore City Red Line after it had already gone through all the reviews and approval. Essentially, Maryland sent close to $1 billion to the rest of the country. But as part of the infrastructure bill, we included this language, and under the current governor, Governor Moore, and the city, we're all moving together to get the Red Line on track, literally. I'd just like to also ask you, Secretary Coase, about some of the transportation safety issues. We had included in the infrastructure modernization bill provisions from a bill that I'd introduced that deal with transit safety, establishing these safety committees to identify safety risks, and I understand that the department and the FDA are close to finalizing a general directive to transit agencies to address specifically assaults on transit workers. That's a piece of this overall safety plan. Action on these issues cannot come fast enough. Last year when we had this hearing, I actually had a witness from the Baltimore Transit Union, and that morning he'd been in the hospital with a transit worker who'd been assaulted, stabbed. So what is the timeline for finalizing the general directive and additional rulemakings to protect workers and riders from assault?
Senator, as you know, immediately after the enactment of the bipartisan infrastructure law, the FTA sent out immediately a Dear Colleague letter to every transit agency, letting them know that they need to stand up their own safety committees. Since then, I can tell you 100% of the transit agencies are in compliance. In addition, as you mentioned, we have put out a draft, a general directive. We've now received those comments. We are hoping the next couple of months that we'll be able to finalize those comments and go out publicly with the final directive.
I appreciate that. Thank you. And I may have some follow-up questions for the record,
Absolutely.
but thank you. Thank you all. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.